Hello everybody. Today we cover the important topic, which is prospecting. And prospecting in the whole sales, in my opinion, is the most important process, just because the more people you add to the top of your funnel, meaning then the more sales you will have in the end. Because on every step of the process, we will have less and less people, just because everyone is busy. For some people, your solution might not be the best one. Some people don't have budget, objections, but in the long run, the more people we put on top, the more people we get in the end. So what is Web3 prospecting? How we do it? How I understand it is that the Web3 prospecting is, one, you need to identify potential customers, then you need to get in touch with them, and you need to invite them to a discovery call with you. And every Web3 project right now, I think, does it differently. We did a poll yesterday in the community, and the result of the poll, I asked people, how do you prospect? How often do you prospect? And do you prospect in a structured way or non-structured way, randomly? So the result was that majority of people prospect around 2-3 times per day, some prospect daily, but the common thing that unites all of them is that they do not prospect systematically, and the system is the thing that's going to help you excel in Web3 sales. Because if you waste your energy every day to make a decision, do I prospect today or do I don't prospect today, if you don't know what your actions are, you cannot become a successful salesperson. Because if you look at the successful salespeople, they're mostly highly productive, and they're highly productive because they know where to focus, and they're sales machines. And why we are here, why are we watching this video? Because you want to become a growth and a sales machine. Why do you want to in the community? Because this is the option that you see, okay, if I do this, and this is going to help me to generate more revenue, become a better salesperson, and then in the long run, I'll be a better professional. This is the end goal. So the end goal is to create a system that's going to help you to achieve your goal. So you commit to a system, you commit to a certain actions, and then you just achieve success. It's like, sounds simple, everybody knows about it, but still not everybody's doing. So my urge here for you is just do this, do what I'm telling you to do, try it out, and see how it goes for at least 1 month. So let's dive in the prospecting in the Web3 space. So Web3 sales are super transactional. You might know this. If you're selling something, everybody want to learn, okay, how much does it cost? What's gonna take it? Because people in Web3, we do not want to waste time. If you are writing messaging, this is what I saw. Your messages in Web3 should be super short. They should be on point. And you need to cut all of this stuff, like, hey, like I was searching on the blah blah blah. It's a bad first line. So if you watch like different tutorials on YouTube, how do we prospect, how do we personalize emails, most of that stuff won't work for you, just because, one, the audience is pretty young. The majority of people in Web3 are below 30, a little bit above 30, and these are the people that communicate in a different way. So we need to pick a different strategy for them. And it's easy for me to tell about this because I'm from this generation, but I imagine somebody coming from Web 2 and he doesn't understand how to do this. So it was a long introduction, but let's jump into our stuff, into our agenda. So how do you prospect effectively? You need 3 things. So the prospecting, it consists of 3 parts. First is research, then it's outreach, and then it's a follow-up. And then it's a whole machine that creates and generates a meeting for you. Let's focus on the research. So if you would remember only a couple of things from this video, then I want you to associate with research that you do this daily. You need to do this daily, because if you're doing this daily, your competitors are not doing it. And this generates an advantage for you. So if you do and it hasn't to be like, 5 hours of research every day, it can be 30 minutes of research, it can be 15 minutes of research, it can be 1 hour of research, and that would be enough. And the better you know your persona, the more success you will have, because your power is not in the amount of people that you can reach, is in the accuracy of people you can take. Because if you have an awful offer and a bad copy, but you bring it to a right person, they might see it relevant for them and they will come to a meeting with you. In comparison, if you have fantastic email, if you have fantastic offer, but you just pick the wrong person, then it's not going to work for you because they are not interested in it and you ultimately fail. So the research and building your list and getting your people is the most important part in the whole process, because if you fail here, then everything fails forward. So at first you need to understand who is your ideal customer profile, like what type of company or segment you will target, who is buying from you, who might benefit from your product. Find those people, understand those accounts, understand those projects, understand that segment, what they care about, who are they, like where they hang out. This is the intelligence that's going to help you be more productive on the further steps. Then once you know your ideal company profile and the customer profile, you need to understand who in the company or in the project directly benefits from your solution. We call them persona. So you need to understand your persona. Persona can be somebody who's like CEO. Persona could be developer. It could be someone who is who would use your project or service directly, or the person who would not use it directly, who would just make a buying decision. You need to understand who are they, and you can connect both. You can connect with the CEO, that he's high on top, and tell him about the business impact of your solution. And then you can contact with someone super down, with the developer that's gonna be influenced by your solution. Super simple. But you need to differentiate. You need to write two different sequences, because for the first one, they care about ROI, they care about effectiveness, and the developers, they care about how easy it is to use the tool. So you need to differentiate your messaging on further steps, but we can cover it later. Then you need to create your list. So let's say you have identified your segment, you know what kind of people you want to target, then you need to find these people. What are the ways to find them? First way, you go to LinkedIn and you do the filter search and you find those people there. And then from LinkedIn, you need to scrape those people into the list or into the CRM. You can do it manually, but you need to find emails, you need to find the more information as possible. So for scraping people's profiles, I would recommend you to use Apollo, or you can use Clean Leads, or if your company is playing like it seriously, then if you have ZoomInfo, you could use ZoomInfo. So ZoomInfo is giving you the best data. Another option, you can scrape emails from LinkedIn and from websites with FundImail. You can just go through all of these websites, check it out, how they're different. And once you have the list from LinkedIn, that's only one option how you can get it. The second way how you can go and find people is, or projects, you go to an ecosystem website. So let's take the Aurora as an example. So there's Aurora is a EVM blockchain, and every majority of EVM blockchains or other blockchains, they have like some kind of ecosystem tab here, and you go and you are able to pick different projects by different segments, and then you can just scrape the data into your list, and you build your lists with understanding we will need this list further on. So you know while you're doing an outreach, you know that who are you outreaching, when are you outreaching, why are you outreaching. Another way to create and find people, create lists and find people, is on Twitter. If you do, and you can go to a company that's you can go and find a post that your ideal customer profile or persona likes. For example, like 10 tips for Web3 CTOs. And you go and look for people who liked it, or for people who commented it. You check if they're indeed CTO and you add them to your list. It's going to be more manually. This is just an idea. I'm curious, like, how do you guys find all of your leads? Because for me, I usually use the LinkedIn. I usually use news. When I see some kind of news popping up around my prospects, or I see that there is some relevant news that I can relate my offer to, that certain company raised money or certain company did this, did A, B, C, then I know, yes, this is the moment for me to engage, and I just go and find that company. And then I just know who to outreach. Would it be product managers? Would it be CTOs? Would it be developers? Would it be CEOs? You need to know who you are reaching out to. And then once you have, basically you need to do this daily for the best result. So every day you need to put more projects to your list, more projects to your CRM, and you need to know that, okay, I'm going to outreach them at this date. I'm going to outreach them at this date. The way this typically looks like this. I will show you this template. I just downloaded from one of the courses that I took, and I modified it a bit to suit our Web3 needs. So typically what you need in the list, if you're doing this manually, because honestly so in the CRM, majority of Web3 projects that I know, they use HubSpot, just because it has a lot of free resources, and I don't know why it's happening while nobody is using Salesforce, but the HubSpot is the peak for Web3. If you think about the Web3 CRM, that allows you to connect with LinkedIn, to connect with Telegram, with Twitter, with others, then it's not gonna really work, because the CRMs that I used, they are not ready to go into production yet. So still the best way to track all of your progress would be in the sheet, because if you're going to do the outreach that is like multi-touch, then you need to track all of your emails, all of your DMs, all of your LinkedIn's, everything, and it's very hard to do it in CRM because you'll be it's not efficient to write notes in your CRM that yes, I outreached John on LinkedIn and he replied this and that. So I would recommend you to use this kind of sheet where you have a company, when you have a prospect name, when you have their role, you have their LinkedIn, you have their handle, you have email, and then you can just track and add stages like LinkedIn, connected, replied, cold email, DMs, DM email, DM to like email 3. You can be very creative with it, and you can create as many steps in the process as you wish. So here you can have like May 2023, week 2. You can just go through it and just use it. So coming back. Now, when you did your research, when you created your list, when you know who your persona is and you have the details how to connect with them, you have their handle, or you have their email, or even you have their phone if you're like super crazy, because I never saw a person that's gonna cold call in Web3. Maybe you are the one. If you are, let me know in the comments or let me know in the community. I would love to speak with you and learn more about your experience. So now when we have this list, we need to do the outreach. We need to create the messaging. And the numbers tell us that average in overall in our tech sales, not only in Web3 and in Web2, we have around 3% response rate. So like around 50% open rate and around 3% response rate, which is like awful. It's a very small number, and we need to make it better. My sequences, they typically score around 80% in opens and above 10% in replies, which is still can be a lot improved, because I know people and I read people's content that do like 97% in open and 50% in reply, but you need to work more precisely. So in your outreach, you need to better understand. If you do more personalization, you waste more time. You invest more time, but then you are able to cover less accounts. So you need to understand where you are at. Are you on a volume guy, or are you on a or girl, or are you a quality person? Like what you're gonna do? So how do we get to 10%? What tips I use to get to 10% response rate and to 80% open rate? So people, one, know about us, and second, they're interested about us. The most important stuff, one, your copy should be short, then your sequence should be multi-channel, and you need to be consistent. So the good copy is short and to the point. It needs to be under 100 words, or even better, under 50, because the less words you put in your first DM or email, the higher the probability that they're gonna reply, especially if you write to someone who is sitting high, like on a manager position, because they're busy and they get a lot of your emails. The general rule of thumb is like when you have your phone, you need to fit your messaging on the screen of the phone, so nobody has to scroll up or down, like if you're writing a long email, because it's already a big minus and huge minus, and people can fall off. Don't read your whole email, and just be short, concise, and consistent. You need to give value in the first line, and you need to answer why you and why now. This is what the people care about. They don't care about who you are. They don't care about anything that you want to tell them. They don't care about your product. They don't care what your product can do. They only care about the problem that they have, the challenge that they have, or the opportunity that they will have. So you need to write your copy that's going to be short. Then you need to replace every I with you. So don't never tell I. The email should be about them, only about the prospect, because they care only about themselves and they don't care about your solution. Don't think about this. Even if your solution does some amazing stuff, they don't care about it and they can be ignorant of it. And this is the truth. So write the copy in the way that's gonna explain why you, why now. That's gonna be only about the prospect and about the challenge that they're going to solve. And then you close with a soft CTA, because if you send the meeting link, you need to do it right. Most of the time when I see a meeting link in the end, I don't really want to jump on the first call after the first message, because one, I don't really trust this person. Second, sometimes it looks very desperate if you word it in a certain way. It's like, please, but take a call with me. Or like, if you haven't did a good job of explaining why you need to take the call, then nobody's gonna book anything with you and it's not gonna be effective. So it's better to close with a soft CTA and aim for starting a conversation. Something like, interested, mind if I sharing more, open for a brief conversation. So starting on the conversation is your goal, not setting a meeting in the first email, because you will have more time to set, you will have more steps in the process to set the meeting. Your idea is to spark the conversation, spark the interest. This guy is interesting. The person has an interesting solution. They really know what I care about. Like, I feel that they're really on my stuff. They're really on my problems. And then you do the DMs. So like you can be multi-channel. So because multi-channel is it's a goal of your outreach. It's a goal of everything. I read data. So we need around 14 touch points with the client for achieving the maximum open and reply rates. 14 touch points, guys. And these 14 touch points is going to be not only one channel, and it should be multi-channel. So in Web3, typically what would work, we can take email, we can take LinkedIn, we can take Discord, we can take Telegram, and we can take Twitter. It's like already 5 sources where you can reach certain project or where you can reach certain company, and that's gonna help you be effective. So how I typically do it, I take one account, I find 2 people probably in the company, and I outreach them on a different level. Some I outreach on Telegram, some I outreach on Twitter, some I outreach on LinkedIn, some of them on email, and I just combine this in a whole sheet. So in the long run, I have more than 14 touch points. But you need 14 touch points with one prospect. It's super important, because if you're constantly popping up in the person's feed and you keep giving them value and trying to start a conversation, at certain point, majority of people just break because you go through this barrier that they have, and you have a reply, or you have a call booked, or they're just interested, or they just tell you, sorry, I'm not interested at this moment. Let's get in touch in 6 months, or please don't email me, please unsubscribe. You need to get a response. So, and you can do A/B testing, of course. You don't need to work with one copy. You just take one, you write one sequence of emails, of DMs, of LinkedIn connection request, of everything, and then you just try it out. And then you do, let's say you change the first email for a different one. You take a different angle in their problem or in the opportunity. That would also work. So other effective ways to engage. So one, you can go to a Discord. So what helped me, I don't know if anybody's doing this. So one, you're going to Discord and you do a compliment on a general chat, but really good, sincere compliment, not just, hi, wow, amazing stuff that you're building. And then somebody from the project will reach out. If the project is active and if they read Discord, they will reach out and say, thank you. Yeah, it's fantastic. And then you can DM this person that replied to you, and you can start a conversation there. Just chat about just something about casual. Don't try to sell them anything. Don't think about what do you want. Try to understand what this person is doing, how are they doing it, how you can help them, and then at a certain point of time you will become friends. And this is the point where you can tell, oh yeah, by the way, I do this and this. Would this be interesting for you? I saw that you guys just did this. I saw that you guys like this. I saw that you guys have this opportunity. Do you think it's worth connecting with someone in your team? And then boom, they're just gonna introduce you to somebody. And this is your way into some companies that if you cannot just reach a person directly via emails, via telegrams, via anything like that. It's basically the easiest way in Web3 to land a meeting is if you go through a referral, if you are a warm connection, if you're not just a guy coming from a cold, because going from a cold is very hard. So what you need to aim for is going warm. Second thing, Twitter AMA. You go to a Twitter AMA, you listen to, and you find the person that you want to connect with. That was a speaker from a company, and then you just let them know in the DMs, hey, I just was on with Twitter DMA, boom, 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 these things are resonated with me, and blah, 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 and then you tailor it to your offer. This also has a very good reply rates because the person already sees, it's like it's hitting their fame, so they feel that yes, somebody listens, somebody thinks it's valuable, but just don't lie, don't write bullshit. If it was a bad call, or if the person really didn't say anything relevant or important or interesting that caught your attention, just don't write them anything. Just tell them that I was on the AMA and just highlight something that you learned from my AMA. So please don't lie in your outreach because people can sense it. And if you write and if you try to lie, then you can be non-genuine and you don't want to start your relationship with mistrust. And then you can go, the third tip for the prospecting, you can go and outreach not directly to the persona. Let's say you want to find CEO or you want to find CTO, then you can go to a Telegram chat or you can go to Discord chat, find the community manager, send your messaging to a community manager and just ask for this introduction to the relevant team or to the relevant person. Chances are they're gonna redirect you. Some community managers don't do this, but still, from my experience, it's worth doing that. And then, the third part, which is follow-ups. Your money and commission really lives here. You need at least 14 touches. We already covered this in the previous part. So you need to track people here in this list, and I will share the link with you in the community. Then you can do multiple steps per day. So for example, first day you can do you can send them an email, you can send them connection request, you can like their post, and you can subscribe on them on Twitter and send them a Twitter DM. It sounds too much, but in fact it's effective because you pop up everywhere, and it already means that you have something relevant. And I really like this because not a lot of people do this just because it takes time. So this is the privilege. If you're ready to invest this time, then it's gonna pay off at certain point. You just hit one massive deal with one CEO executive because people are super busy. You need to, and if they ignore your emails, one part that it could be persona, second it's your messaging, third people are just generally busy. So you need to bump them a lot of times so they know that, hey, you exist. Then you can do different steps. You can try different models. You can do first 7 steps in first 7 days, and then you can do other 7 steps in 14 days. So like your whole path of a prospect is going to be 21 days. And you can try it out. So like typically in the beginning, you want to qualify the person as fast as possible. You want to understand, is it relevant for them? So whatever works, you send them DMs, you send them emails, you just want to get in touch with them. You just show them that, hey, this is the solution. Typically you can cold call. Yeah, why no problem, but you need to have phone numbers. You need to have tools like from Apollo, from ZoomInfo. That's going to be an option for you. Topics for follow-ups. So first one you can talk about, so in the first email you talk about the business challenge or something super relevant for them. Then in the second and so on emails you can, or DMs, you can tell about your business impact. You can tell about the solution that you're offering. You can tell about the success story of how a previous customer of you or a similar customer of you achieved X, Y, and Z with your solution, and this helped them save X, Y, and Z or achieve X, Y, and Z. That's typically how it works. You can send them video message, so you can record something with Loom. You can record something with Vidyard. That's gonna help, where you can just it's immediately differentiation. I don't know if anybody sends videos in Web3. I sometimes do, and it works. Yeah, you can write them about case study. You can send them a short video about demo, whatever you want. You can be super creative about this, and we can cover this in the first month of our prospecting. And then at a certain point, when they're unresponsive, you need to give them a way out. So you just tell them that you'll give their inbox or their DM box a break for some time, and then you set a note to follow up these guys in 3-6 months. It was a lot. I really wasn't expecting it's going to be 25 minutes, but let's sum up. So in your prospecting, we have 3 parts: research, outreach, and follow-up. You need to systematize these parts, and you systematize them, one, in your follow-ups with this kind of structure. If you want, you can plan your week like this. This is the example of what I did when I was studying on the course for an SDR. Basically, you can take your whole day and you divide it by different activities. So every day I would recommend you to plan at least a half hour of research when you add new people to your pool. Then you need to add definitely a slot for emails, and you need to add a slot for socials. So like DMs, Twitters, Telegrams. You can also, what you can do, you can just merge. You can just take the whole outreach section. Let's say it's gonna be 90 minutes, so 1 hour and a half, and you do everything. You have one prospect and you do email, socials, videos for them in that 90 minutes. This is only thing that you do. You do only prospecting. Then typically you would need some time for also, please include for planning. So like maybe not every day, well, at least once a week, plan what kind of activities you're gonna do, plan what segment you wanna cover, plan what people you're gonna outreach, plan what you need to do at all in the week. And also leave some time, of course, for learning, for calls, for team meetings, for anything like that. So in the long run, you want a system that's gonna keep you accountable for your actions. You need to automate all of your actions. Basically, you need to know that, okay, today is Tuesday, I do research 30 minutes, then I do 1 hour and a half of prospecting, of outreaching, and then I have 2 calls, and then I'm good to go. And this is gonna be your day. And you do this every day, you do this every day, you do this consistently, you keep throwing your time here, because in the long run, it's gonna pay off. So guys, if we're gonna sum up, what do we do? Research. You research daily, you create the system, and you outreach the right people. You know who you are outreaching, you know your persona. Then your outreach is short, it's multi-channel, and it's consistent. And then how many touches? You need 14 touches. And follow-ups, if you do only 2 or 3 follow-ups, it's not serious. Like you will not generate any revenue. It's not going to be successful. Everybody's super busy right now. It needs to be at least 14 touches. So guys, it was a lot of stuff. Please let me know what do you think about this, because I'm curious whether somebody is doing cold calls of you, and how many steps in the sequence do you have. You can write the comments below in this channel. I urge you to subscribe and to like this video so we can move it through the rankings and more people know about this. And let's connect in the community, because this is a very big topic to uncover. What we're gonna do tomorrow is, I will tell you in community, because this is gonna be interesting stuff. And I wish you all great and fantastic productive day. This is the day when you know what really works in Web3. So now you don't have any excuses why you're not doing this and why you're getting bad results. This is the solution. Use it.